Hello. Oh, 2 seconds. Hello, everybody, and welcome to qualifying for the ABB Formula E World Championship live from the Portland International Raceway. Currently, I should have been trackside for this session as well. Should have been out there as well. Seeing Nicky Shields out there with Nelson Piquet and Oliver Askew as well. Looks absolutely fantastic, alas, back here in the commentary box. But never mind. All's going to be fine as well. Just realised that Adam's not hearing me properly, so allow me to plug him in so you can actually hear the track noise and all the normal action from us up here in the commentary box. If I plug that in, we'll hear some track noise as well. Adam Embridge alongside me in the comms box. Ed Hunter here too. Has managed to make it up in time ahead of the first session. But Adam, good afternoon to you, just about over there. How are you doing? Doing well?
Yes, sir, Carl, and I am truly looking forward to joining you and Ed here for qualifying on this beautiful sunny afternoon. Really cool to see the Formula E World Championship at Portland International Raceway. Earlier this year, the NASCAR Xfinity Series was there, and the ARCA Menard Series West Series was there, and now here we are with Formula E, and later on in the year, the NTT IndyCar Series will head on out to the beautiful state of Oregon. And this track is historically known for some pretty close racing. And from what we've seen so far in practice, I think qualifying is going to be really, really intense. Some really good drivers have been really fast. Norman Nato was fastest in FP2, and Rene Rast was fastest in FP1. He caught a few top qualifying last weekend. For Formula One was crazy in Canada. Well, I don't think you've seen anything yet. It's going to Formula E is known for crazy qualifying, and I think we're going to see it here at Portland International Raceway.
I really hope we are. We need a good qualifying. This track does deliver great qualifying. Ed Hunter's with us. Ed's with us commentating on the qualifying. Then he's going to move. He'll still be on the screen, but he'll move to more of a silent partner role in the race due to late at night. But hello, Ed. Welcome back to the commentary box. We've missed you in the last couple of rounds as well, only doing Monaco. You've been doing a Dario Franchitti on us as well. Missing in Berlin, came back from Monaco, missing in Jakarta. And now you're here in Portland. Hello.
Hello, it's good to be back, and great to have a new racetrack on the calendar, Portland International Raceway. As Adam so correctly said, such a great history of IndyCar, NASCAR, and now Formula E adds itself to the bill, and it's generally mostly unchanged, apart from that final chicane, of course, at the end of the very, very long sort of right-hander in straight into sort of 8 and 9, I think. It's such a high-speed section. We've already seen Formula E top speed records broken there, 172 miles per hour. It was 176 by Mitch Evans in FP1. So I don't know if that was broken in FP2, but certainly you also got to look at in this qualifying session for the tyre temperatures. A lot of on the radio, I noticed Andre Lotter at one point was told, we need to cool the tyres down before we do another lap. So it definitely seems the tyres heat up quite quickly during a qualifying lap. So a lot of these Hancocks, the team's still trying to figure out how to get to grips with these. Of course, it's been a while since we've been to a permanent racetrack. Mexico is the last one that I can think of back in January, of course.
Yes.
And a lot of the drivers have been talking about energy management in the race, but of course qualifying, there's still 3 points up for grabs. And I think it's still important to qualify as high as possible, because if you get into the duels, there's every chance you can get pole position, and like those 3 points can make a difference at the end of the season. Starting higher up also means you get a good, you better chance of staying out of trouble on the first lap, of course, with a load of cars behind you rather than ahead of you. So I definitely think all to play for, and a lovely track in which to play it in. Lots of these fast-flowing, a lot of, I think, I forget who it was in some of Joe's interviews that he was doing for Grid Network, but one of the drivers said that it's quite true. I think it might have been Dan Tickton. The corners sort of flow from one into the next, so that especially in those S's near the beginning of like 3 through to about 6 or 7 is a
great segue.
It's sort of like one corner after another, so you don't really get a whole lot of. We're actually just watching Sam Bird's track guide at the moment by Oliver Askew, of course. But it is sort of where there's no kind of it's a bit low grip and it's sort of one corner after another, so you don't really get a whole up until those two straights, the start finish straight and the one leading into the final chicane. You don't get a lot of breathing room. So it's going to be quite full on in this quali session.
You've got a great segue into that because that's up next. I was supposed to be in Portland this weekend alongside Joe Samaniego, but the cost was too high. But Joe has been trackside interviewing the drivers, and this is what they had to say yesterday morning in the media debrief.
Yeah, 100%. I think Berlin will be like a small percentage of what we'll see here. I think it will be even more extreme. I think qualifying will be the highest top speeds we've seen in this car before, so that's really exciting. And then the racing itself will be quite a procession, like a lot of pack racing, like you mentioned, and just try and be there at the end when it matters.
It's quite an energy demanding circuit, so we use a lot of energy to do the laps. So the race will be very strategic, but also just even trying to set the car up as well for these long corners. You know, we normally set the car up to for road court, street tracks, and this is obviously a permanent facility with very long corners. It's not very Formula E-esque, so big change, and hopefully we've done the right steps to be competitive. But the whole approach to the weekend will have to be slightly modified.
Yeah, it's going to make different, especially from a strategy perspective in the races. The toe is going to have a massive effect on efficiency, so that's going to play a big role in how people strategize their races. In terms of qualifying, there's lots of combined corners, which theoretically is not actually very good for our car, but it might make it will be very difficult to drive. So carrying good speed will be very key, and then adapting the car as quickly as possible, because like you say, this circuit is not normal for us, so it'll be about how the teams mechanically adapt the car as quickly as possible to suit this circuit.
Well, we're getting ready then as the green light goes on, and qualifying is underway here for the first segment here for the 2023 Portland E-Prix, sponsored by Southwire. The track is green, and away they go. Excuse me, it's the middle of summer here. Ed, we're going to see quite a lot of action and quite a lot of flurry for Jaguar, who've had 2 battery changes in this session.
Already have they? I've not been keeping track of that.
Yeah,
but
I got a
clearly,
text.
Jag, you're not happy about the performance of the battery then, and having to just swap it out. Hopefully they don't take any group penalties for that. But is that both cars that have battery changes?
Yes, Mitch Evans has changed whole powertrain. Sam has 2. So it really sneezing now. Well, blimey, it's like once you start, you can't stop.
Well,
but
that is certainly going to be interesting. Sorry, I didn't realise there was more to say.
Sorry.
But anyway, I think Verline and Cassidy are in this first group. So
Does look like it, yeah.
So it's all the odd numbers in the championship, yeah. So that would be Verline, Cassidy, Vern, I believe, as well. So Vern was someone you predicted in the pre-show, I think, to win on the Grid Network. So it'd be interesting to see how he gets along.
I think I picked
You
John
did,
Eric. John Eric for installing.
Yeah, yes. I agree with you as well. Jean-Eric's got a good pick here to win. Verline, Cassidy, Vern, Gunther, Boemi, Van Dorn, Fenestrat, NATO, Tictum, Setter, Cameron, Muller are the cars in this session. You might also notice that per Tom Dillon's request and sort of badgering, we have switched to a browser entry for our OBS for Formula E, which means it's a lot nicer on the eye. It's not got a load of blue around as well, just the driver tracker, but with bigger numbers, so it's nicer to look at.
Well, that's certainly good for the viewers at home, because we don't want to give them some kind of visual heartache. Well, visual heartache? I don't know what I'm building up to here. Sort of, we don't want too much clutter and noise. We want it to be nice, clean, easy to read. Yeah. Because people haven't got all day.
And it's easier now to read. And I tell you what, I can't wait until we get to the duel segment, because we've got a new battle screen that is showing all the sector times for the 2 drivers, with myself, Ed, and Adam's camera and the driver tracker all still there. But it is a lot nicer to take a look at as well, to keep across of all the sector
much
times.
nicer than me just holding up Lego cars to the... Oh, and there's a front wing.
I will say, those Lego cars are really, really cool. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to play with Legos a lot. My younger brother and I I would build race cars, and he would build equipment since he loves construction equipment. So while we're here on the subject of 2023, guys, let's discuss the schedule for 2024. Because Formula E is going to a part of the world that it's about time that they go to, and that's Tokyo, Japan. So my question, I'll start with you, Josh. Do you want to see the race in Tokyo during the day, or do you want to see it under the lights in prime time?
I think for Formula E to maximise it, I think they've got to go in Tokyo under the lights. I think it's got to be a night race, because the spectacle of that city, it's magical in the day and it's magical in the night. But to capture Formula E's true spirit, a night race in Japan would be fantastic for the first ever Tokyo E-Prix, because it'd literally be like Blade Runner. And it'd be fantastic.
Yes.
I love it. So got to be under night. What do you think, Ed? Day or night?
I think Blade Runner is the most flattering comparison, given it's a dystopian world where
That's what I thought.
there's a subhuman class of robots that are treated like animals, but and there's all sorts of pollution. I don't know. I don't think Blade Runner is the most flattering. I think Japan's not quite in that bad a state yet. I think it's a pretty lovely city, but I don't really care whether it's a night race or not, because I think Japan is a boon enough in of itself. The big thing is they're very strict about road safety in Japan.
Yes, they are.
So it's
yes,
a big deal.
Yeah.
But obviously they also electrification of mobility in the area is a big deal, in Japan, certainly. So this shows that they're serious about it. It's taken quite a while for this to happen, so it is a big step, because they'd signed an option a little bit like McLaren, and then the deadline was coming up and they thought, well, we may as well sign that option, as it looks like the first couple of times are ticking through, by the way. So
Yep.
Adam's given us a really, really big question about Formula E's future, one of the big venues it's going to.
Yeah,
and we got to hear it now to focus on as well.
And it looks like Sebastian Vettel is on top, John Eric Vernon in second, Norman Nato third, and Max Gunther is fourth right now. And there's a lot of days that haven't been confirmed yet. And I said this in the chat, Josh, if you remember.
Yes.
Where would I like to see Formula E go? I'll give you a couple options. Helsinki, Finland. It's called, I don't think, looking at their previous schedules, they've never gone to Scandinavia.
Yeah.
How about the streets of Macau? I mean, we all know about we all know about the end of the year, Macau Grand Prix, how popular it is. And then, as you two know, my love of the Repco Supercar Championship, I got to thinking, the streets of Adelaide.
Yeah.
And then Formula E teams up with supercars and does a double hitter on the streets of Surfers Paradise on the Gold Coast.
That's better.
Why not? I mean,
that's better. Yeah, that one.
I mean, why not? I mean, Ben, what do you think? Would you like to see a Formula E supercars double hitter on the Gold Coast Surfers Paradise?
Absolutely, but I'm just looking on screen at Maserati changing the tyres of Maximilian Günfer's car, and that to me really indicates that reheating tyres is a big factor here if they're doing it in the middle of the quali group, and this is on board with... This is Berline. It's a Nissan. It must be NATO, I think, just letting his teammate through.
Yes, it is Norman NATO. Yes, it is.
See the name on the side of the screen there. Yeah, he's jumped over the curbs at the first
And he's
chicane.
stranded in the middle of the curb there for a second, but I think this is the slow-mo, making it look ultra slow. But so a little bit of a heart-of-the-mouth moment there for Norman, Storming Norman, as I love to call him. Fenestraz, as we said, 109.86. So anyway, in answer to your question, Adam, I think Surfers Paradise, Gold Coast, I think Adelaide. It'd be brilliant to see a Formula E race in Australia. I know Mark Preston, who's been on the show before, would love it as well. I think what's more likely though is one of the dates is probably going to be South Korea. I think it's either going to be a venue that we saw last season end, which was Seoul, or I think there was another city in South Korea that was potentially up for the bid, but I can't remember the name of it. And I think Eindhoven in the Netherlands has also got a bid that they've been putting together for a few years. So I think that would be great to see, because they've actually really gone, as we see Porsche changing Verline's tyres as well.
Car 9 under investigation for pit lane procedure. Now, is that Mitch Evans? It is Mitch Evans.
Would be, but Evans isn't out in this session, I don't think. So
No,
that
so
might
I
have
think,
been from the end of FP2, I assume, or did they send him out by mistake into
think-
the wrong quali group?
I think that's exactly what's happened. I think they've pushed him into the pit lane thinking it was him. Because do you remember the mad rush we saw at the start of the show where he was jumping back over? I think they've pushed him out in the wrong group. That's embarrassing. Just to run through the
Well,
groups.
the other thing is, it's an unusual thing, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
it's a push lane rather than a pit lane, so they have to push them into the fast lane, as it were.
'Cause we
So
use the
that's not
IndyCar
that's
layout,
very
yeah.
usual in America, but not so the European mechanics might not necessarily be used to that system. So easy to see where Jaguar and the Williams Advanced Engineering crew got caught out there, maybe.
Yeah, hopefully they'll get a little bit of slack on that. Just to run through the order, the top four go through to the duels, and it's Fenestraz, Verne, Nato, Gunther, 1, 2, 3, 4. At the moment, having to go through is Tinkton, Van Dorn, Muller, Verline, Boemi, Sete, Cameron, Cassidy at the moment. As we see Cassidy fighting through the first chicane. Just hearing Ben Edwards in the back of my ear as well, which is quite strange. I said, I thought about putting a tweet out. Ben Edwards back on Eurosport late at night in the UK commentating at Portland. What year am I in? He's back. Brilliant.
Oh, that's right. That's right, Josh. You said in FP2 he used to do the internationals, the international streams for IndyCar. I mean, even I can remember that. I mean, that was a long time ago. But I mean, I will say this is pretty cool to have Formula E here in Portland. Portland is a really beautiful city. It's in the Rose City because of the Rose Festival, and I wish Formula E could have gone to Vancouver, Canada, and made it the next round. I mean, and used Pacific Place at Circuit F, Pacific Place, like the NTT IndyCar Series used to run on. I mean, hopefully it happens really, really soon, because I think that'd be really, really cool to see.
Would it surprise you to know this is the third track that both Formula E and IndyCar have raced on? Mexico City.
Wow.
Yeah, Mexico City, here in Portland, and Sao Paulo. Because it was the same layout. The start-finish
Very
straight was
true.
the same one, yeah. So, nice little change
That's
around
true.
there. Van Dorn's jumped to
Well,
fourth.
good luck by Van Dorn.
Yeah, finally that's...
I think Cassidy may have missed out there because that lap, he's only got a minute and a half left. He might have one final run, but
Gunther.
he looks like he may just miss out.
Gunther's
Oh,
jumped.
good luck by Gunther too.
So he's jumped up. Fenestraz is looking great. Nissan topped the second part as with Norman Nato as well in free practice too. So they have got something to prove. We're on board with the Tag Heuer Porsche of Pascal Verlaine coming through 8 and 9 at the back of the track. And Joe Samiego's hanging around there as well, just keeping an eye out of all the
He's
action.
taking some photos as well.
He has. The Google Drive's fantastic. We're going to get those set up for our thumbnails as well. It annoys me that I've got a green pass waiting for me and I can't get to it as well. Do you reckon they'll send it to me if I ask really nicely? Probably
I
not.
mean, why not? I mean, it could be a cool souvenir, even though you weren't there. I mean, you
Yeah.
can say, you had a pass, Josh. I mean,
I got a pass.
but I know, 2024, you will be with
Yep.
Joe, trackside at Portland.
Yeah, that's your place. It's much easier to get to than London, Josh.
I know.
Especially with the strikes on at the moment.
Do you know, my friend said exactly the same to me. He said, isn't there a race in the UK? I said, yeah, there's one in London at the end of the year. He's like, why are you going to London? I said, because on that weekend, we've got everything on. But I would have.
Yes, you
Well, there's
will.
also the 29th, there's the train strikes, but
Yes,
30th
true,
will
yeah.
be fine for the finale.
That finale as well. You're going down on there to London, aren't you, for the race?
Yeah, in fact, I'm going to stay at a friend's house, I think. Go down on the Friday, stay there.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
like
Cool.
I said, I don't
Cool,
get
very
caught
cool.
out. But it's not a huge journey, but with the trains out,
Yeah.
it would be a bit like that. Anyway, Cassidy is on what I think is his final attempt there, absolutely thrashing through the chicane. Huge speed of direction change
Oh, he's
there
twitched.
for the Envision car.
That car's
Here we go
twitching
then.
up to the line. Is he faster than Fenestraz 109860? Cassidy?
No.
No, stay sixth. I think everyone's slowing on this lap. No one's got a good run, which is unexpected. What about Pascal Verlaine? Second in the championship. Sorry, lead of the championship by 1 point to Dennis. Stays 10th. Verlaine starts this race at the back of the grid in row
Ultimate
10.
row then.
Oh, that's gonna be fun to see the championship leader Pascal Verlaine come through the vehicle. That may be. I mean, we all know how crazy the Shelton chicane can be in turn one. If I'm Pascal Verline,
Oh, that's Gunther.
I get
Oh, Gunther.
and stuff.
He's gone off track.
I mean, I think if I'm Pascal Verline, I take it nice and easy going into turn one and avoid any mistakes, since we all know how crazy the Shelton chicane can be, guys.
Massively so, and that's pretty much run out with Gunther going off the track. He secures himself 4th position by bringing out a brief yellow. It's Fenestras, Vern, NATO, Gunther going through to the next half of qualifying. Let's take a look at it. This is how Cassidy went wrong. We saw this live, didn't we? He just jumped over the chicane, caught some air, and it's dropped him down to 6th position. We are losing championship contenders left, right, and centre.
This quality group. So yeah, but with the Nissans, the DS cars on strong, I think Vern made it through, but Van Dorn just missed out to Gunther, who we saw getting the chicane wrong. And yeah, so the curves are quite compliant here in the final sector, so that worked to Cassidy's advantage. So he will 6th in group. It's not a total disaster for Nick Cassidy, but certainly Verline would have been hoped to be much higher up in the group than 10th. Muller, shout out to Muller, in 7th then. So you out-qualified both Neos, Buemi and Verline. It's pretty impressive, given that the app has got Mahindra powertrain in it.
What a session, what an opener to the practice we've experienced here. Just getting my blue pen out because somebody's nicked my purple one up here in the commentary box. So that's not great. But what an opener we've got to the session. So at the end of the first part of qualifying, it's Sasha Fenestras, Jean-Eric Verne, Norman Nato, Maximilian Gunther, the 4 going through. Out of it, as I said earlier, goes Van Dorn as well, as we get ready for the next group of qualifying to go through. We'll hand you back. Our driver track has actually disappeared. There we go, popping back in. We'll hand you back over shortly to Nikki Shields down there in the pit lane as we prepare for Group B. But 109.860 for Sasha Fenestras. It's a French 1-2-3. Fenestras, Verne, NATO. So the French dominating here in Portland. How like Simon Pagenaud, who did so when we returned here a few years ago. And there's a wonderful Gen 3 Nissan on the stream now as well. Let's hand it back downstairs to Nikki.
Pascal Verline, P10, not making it through to the Jaws. Disappointment for him, but what an opportunity for Jean-Eric Verne in P2.
Yeah, Jean-Eric Verne, and my eyes are going to be on Jake Dennis now for this next session. Of course, you don't want to qualify back there, but at this race, I think we can expect a lot of opportunity for movement through the fields.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure these teams are not too worried about qualifying. They're focusing on the race. So I don't know if they're playing any games, hiding something, but yeah, I think they're going to be worried about the race. And over here, it's going to be so easy to overtake that their main focus is going to be in the race.
All right, well, let's see how the Envision guys are feeling, because Radzi is with Sylvain Filippi.
Well, I'm joined by team principal of Envision, Sylvain Filippi. Sylvain, a tough start to the day. First of all, Nick Cassidy, very much in the hunt for the championship, winning the title. What happened to him there just wasn't enough?
Yeah, all day, even last night, we are just a few tenths off, 2-3 tenths off the fastest cars here. We throw a lot of things at it, but I think ultimately it comes down to, you know, it's an unusual track. These cars haven't really been designed for that kind of layout. So we are kind of patching things and trying to find fixes, but it's just not optimal.
It's also telling because Sebastian Buemi loves the duels, but again, he's out as well, so it must be possibly a package just not matching the track.
Yeah, we're just struggling on setup, and then again, you know, it's Formula E, it's 2-3 tenths, right? But here it makes all the difference. So yeah, not great quali. Race will be very different. A lot about the energy. We have to find a setup that is, you know, kinder to the car, and then maximize the efficiency that we know we have. And then it will come down to strategy and then, you know, peloton style racing.
The enormous positive is anything can happen in on this particular track, and potentially we could see a repeat of P11 maybe winning the race.
Yeah, for sure. If you're in the right place at the right time and you look after your energy really well, you can overtake here. So yeah, the race will be interesting.
Thanks for your time. Race well today.
Thank you.
Green light is on, and the second part of qualifying is underway here at the Portland E-Prix. And we wonder who's going to head out next. There's Nikki with Oliver Askew in the pit lane. There we go. Back up now into the box as the track begins to get littered with Formula E cars. This session sees Dennis, Evans, DaCosta, Bird, Hughes, Rast, Lotterer, Degrassi, Mortara, Frines, and Roberto Meri. As that is now Mitch Evans getting out of the car when he was already in the pit lane. Now, if you remember, I said he has changed battery and powertrain. He was mistakenly pushed out in the last session in Q1 when he's at Q2. And now he's got out of the car again as they change it. So Mitch Evans, Ed, having a lot of problems. And now they're changing, they're taking the seats out. This is unheard of in a 10-minute qualifying session.
It sort of sums up Jaguar's season, doesn't it? Brilliance for Mitch Evans, but all sorts of technical issues and bad luck plaguing him. Only a couple of races, I think, I think Interlagos, Brazil, and what was the... Evans won 2 in a row, didn't he? Or was it Cassidy that won 2 in a row? I think Evans has only won 1 race this season, and that was Brazil. Every other race, it seems things have not quite gone to plan for him and Jaguar, which is a big shame because that package has got so much potential, and it just seems typical Mitch Evans' bad luck kicking in.
Did he take Berlin 1? And then Cassidy took Berlin 2 in the race after that in Monaco. Was that?
Yes, that was it. Yeah, he did win 2 in a row. You're right.
Yeah.
It's a bit confusing with the double headers to remember because I seem to, for some reason, I remember Cassidy winning 2 in a row. That was Berlin and then Monaco.
Yeah. Incident involving Car 9 will be investigated after the session, race control have said. So Evans will probably not start where he qualifies in this session, or if he does get through to the Jules, that's going to be key.
Well, he's got to get back in soon.
Yes.
And I think it's surely something where he's breached the regulations or had the stewards in his ear or something, and so he's had to maybe do a weigh-in or take the seat out for whatever. If a driver's getting out of the car at the beginning of qualifying, it's rarely a good sign, as we see the McLarens at the timing screens.
1-2 for Rast Hughes. Mortara blows them away, though, by 2.5 tenths of a second. It's 0.21. Let's hear from Hughes.
So that's a good effort by Edo Mortara.
Hughes just says part of the second build-up, so go, go, go. Once more. Frines 5th. 6th for Roberto Meri, ahead of Robin Frines. Huge lock-up for Meri. Into turn 1 and go straight on.
Roberto's still getting to grips with the Formula E car there.
Yeah, sure.
Only his second run in it though. Third attempt at qualifying, I guess, if you count the 2 races in Jakarta.
That's true.
This is such a different circuit to Jakarta that he's almost having to learn everything all over again. But yeah, not surprising to see Mortara on top, given how quick Gunther and the DS of Verne was. But both McLarens doing very well. Dennis has actually got himself up to 3rd so far, with Bird unsurprisingly getting the most out of that Jaguar. So that really shows maybe Envision had just got the car setup wrong, rather than the actual package itself, the Jaguar powertrain being the weak link there.
Rast across the line, fault at the moment, goes fastest by 0.243 of a second. Rast is a 1:10.135 as Mortara runs off at the last corner and nearly wipes out, believe that was going to be Robin Frines coming across the line as well. So so that's there goes Grassy Fizz, but here comes Frines across the line. So absolute insanity, Adam, with cutting across the track. We've seen that a lot across the practice sessions, and this man Jake Dennis did so. Just everyone's running wide. Do we see that a lot in IndyCar, this part of the track?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like to use the curbs, going out of the last corner onto the front stretch. So, and we're seeing Jake Dennis now is fastest, Rene Rast is 2nd, Robin Frines 3rd, and Andre Lauderer is 4th. And I think I picked Jake Dennis to win the Portland E-Prix instead of John Eric it's called. So I mean, it's pretty cool. We saw in the first part qualifying.
Too wide for Mortara there. Sorry, Adam. Just seeing what happened there.
He was doing some grass cutting at what Mortara was, and he took care of it. And now the mowers at Portland don't have to worry since that water did their job for them. But now, is there a track here in the United States that you guys like to see Formula E go to? Because one place I'd like to go see him is, how about Watkins Glen?
Yeah, I was just thinking
we all know that. We all know IMSA is there this weekend. And to let all of you know, it's going to be really wet
Oh.
6 hours was led, and they had to cancel qualifying. So the number, I believe, the number 6, Porsche Penske is riding on the pole tomorrow for the 6 hours of the Glen.
And big news as Mitch Evans walks to the back of the garage. He will not take part in qualifying. Jaguar TCS really making mistakes. Evans and Bird having new powertrains fitted. Evans was the most recent after practice too. The car not ready. More issues, Ed. And he's going to start this race right at the back in 20 seconds. We're in for a great E3 later. So much already happening. Verline out of position, Evans too. Slow guys at the front, fast guys at the back. It's certainly throwing us up an interesting race here.
Look at Robin Freins. He's got third fastest time at the moment in the Apt, which is very impressive. I thought Muller was impressive, and Apt is gone in and said, I'll hold my German beer, I guess. To not use a specific brand. But yeah, anyway, I imagine Jake Hughes will probably fight back. But great to see both Andretti's in there. As you say, Evans, it just looks like Luck's not only place 25 points behind the championship lead now. I think realistically, Mitch Evans may be at the picture now if he can't recover in the race. But still, there could be a lot of teams like Porsche, like Envision, that have set up their car to save energy in the race and to be effective there rather than for the most out of qualifying, because they probably thought the trade-off was better on the long run.
So it is, according to some of the data screens, as we take a look. Top 4 at the moment, Dennis, Rast, Freins and Lotterer. And it coming through, having to fight for a position in the duels. Hughes, Mortara, Bird, Degrassi, DaCosta, Merry. So some really surprising action coming through. There we see Jake Dennis, who's currently fastest in the pit lane. So is Jake. Yeah, that is Jake Hughes, isn't it? Yeah, there's Rennie Rast. Just alongside him, the 5 and 6 machines. 58 and the 5.
I would think Mortara, if he can stay out of the grass, can go much faster than a 110.3.
Here comes he's Mortara. Yeah.
Rank you.
He's going to start that time as well. So let's get the old stopwatch out and go across the line, down towards turn number 1.
You don't really need a stopwatch, Josh. It's already done for you.
I know, but sometimes they take it off midway through. That's true, actually. It was also as well. Let's hear from Dennis.
Okay, mate, just make you aware, all the quick guys in our group are still in pit lane. Okay, so we're in sequence.
Dennis being given some reassurance that he's not being left out to dry and his mechanics haven't suddenly become Ferrari.
All the quick guys and Mitch Evans as well, who can't leave the pit lane because
that's true, yeah.
of Jaguar messing up.
So maybe
yes, that would be Dennis, Rast, Freins, and Hughes all there. So they don't seem to see Lotter as one of the quick guys.
Or Mortara.
Being fourth at the moment.
Yeah, or Mortara, who's out there at the moment. And Gunther got through, but in 4th position last time out. He's going out in the first of these quarter-finals as Mortara comes up then in towards the braking zone. Regen of energy coming through the back half into 10-11 and round turn 12. Middle sector's a 17.289. Can Mortara get himself inside the top 4? Can he get himself anywhere near Dennis's time? 109.856, cross the line, take it. It's a 1:10.101, the same as what I got on my stopwatch. So that is accurate TV pictures.
Jake Dennis, 2.5 tenths nearly quicker than everyone else, which is quite an ominous sign, isn't it, Josh?
That's amazing. That is, wow, I mean, to see Eduardo Mortara go through the grass, and now he's currently P2. I mean, Eduardo Mortara is a very respectable driver. He's had loads of experience in other forms of motorsports in the past, so well, he can get the job done when it matters.
Across the line then, more coming as well. Degrassi goes P9. Just had a funny text message come through on my phone as well. Someone has asked me how have you been standing for what I've calculated as about 9 hours. My feet are killing. Rast across the line. No, not mine. The person's texted me saying that their feet are killing, but they've been only standing up for 2 hours. The secret is you move around and you rock and you have some good shoes. Time's coming on then.
Yep.
Oh, look at Lotterer. Lotterer, bringing Brim in the middle sector. Lotterer goes across the line and takes 3rd. Lotterer improves big time. Just look down, his middle sector time was fast. Bird says...
The lap felt really strong.
Bird says that's all he can do. The lap felt really strong and he's struggling. He's backed off. He'll get another run as well, Ed, but Sam's in trouble. Jaguar really struggling here in this session.
And only just ahead of Da Costa as well, so I imagine Porsche are in a similar woes then, that they're just outright speed with the setup that they've got on these cars is not that much, but Costa must be frustrating because Andretti with the same powertrain, with the same hardware, are looking up 1-3 at the moment in this session.
I'll tell you what, Adam, we just saw the look of James Bartley. He's looked a very depressed man all weekend long. Jaguar have not twigged at this circuit, but we're seeing everybody get their groove into this track. It is a track that we noticed in IndyCar as well. It rewards you for the amount of time and patience it puts in. So maybe Jaguar can bounce back in the race.
Yeah, it's called. Oh yeah, Josh. Like you said, you have to have a lot of patience going around here, and it's really cool to see Andretti 1 and 3. I mean, you could sort of say this is a home track for him. I mean, we all know how good Michael Andretti has done in the past in the NTT IndyCar series, so maybe that momentum is carried over here to Formula E, and we could see Andre Lauderer or his teammate find a way to start on the pole position and have a really good race later tonight.
Checker flag is out then. Who is going to progress into the duels and who is going to be left high and dry in the middle of the grid? Sam Bird's P7. He's currently not qualified enough. Da Costa in 8th position. They're flying into the back half of the track. Bird taking no edges as well. Nearly getting on the grass. Into the last corner. Controlling the rear. Loses a little bit of lap time. Hits the curb. Bird still trying to control that Jaguar. Not working out. Down to the line. That's out, isn't it? It's gone, isn't it? The lap's gone.
Brian's second fastest.
Frines is really, that's amazing! And Da Costa goes second, Mortara is out because Rasta's gone quick and Hughes goes through. Oh, McLaren have not shown all season long, have turned up in America and have really put it on. Brilliant for Neil McLaren. Cross the line for Dennis, Da Costa's going to take it. Mortara and Lotta are the last two. And Lotta, fastest first sector. This is Mortara, he stays 6th. Can Lotta kick out Da Costa and really throw the championship up in order? No, he's 5th.
Oh.
11,000 off.
There by 0.011.
Wow.
Whoa.
11,000. That's how much it separated. But Rast, Dennis, Hughes and Da Costa. Nobody would have anticipated that as the duels. What a crazy Portland race we've got coming. And it all started. Look, that's Dennis off the track. Flying off as well. So everyone's been having issues.
Josh, did I say qualifying would be crazy?
You did?
And was it crazier? Has this been crazy like Canada was last weekend for Formula One?
Yeah.
Or crazier?
And it's a dry race as well. Portland delivers.
Yeah.
Oh, Ed, that was a great... Oh, let's hear from Rast.
Well done, mate. Well done. That's P1. P1, Jake, P3.
And that is a point for Rene Rast for topping the group stage.
Do they still score a point for the group stages?
Yeah, it's 1 point for the group stage fastest time, then 1 point for the final duel time. So the final. So it's 1 point for the group, 3 points for the pole position overall.
Fenestras has got a point and Rast as well. I thought it was only the pole position that got you 3 points.
No,
I don't remember. I thought they dropped the group stage.
It's not just. It's not Fenestras. It's the fastest of the two, and Rast was faster than Fenestras, so it's Rast who gets that point. Yeah. So there's 4 points available in qualifying. Followed then by a point for the race. Technically, there's about 30 points on offer across the weekend. Here it is then from Group 2. It's Rene Rast who's fastest. Neil McLaren, then it's Jake Dennis and Jake Hughes going through. Da Costa goes in 4th. Lotta is 5th and out, as well as Robin Frines, Eduardo Mortara, Lucas Degrassi, Sam Bird, Roberto Meri, and Mitch Evans in there as well. A lot to look forward to, and coming up next, it's Norman Nato versus Jean-Eric Verne. But first, we're going to head down to the paddock with Nicky Shields out there as well, getting all the action. But let's head to Saunders first.
Yes, I'm down here at DS Penske, and I've been investigating what the investigation was about and what's going to happen as a result of it, and I found some stuff out. Let me tell you, what they've done is they've actually broken 3 different technical and sporting regulations, which largely revolve around installing something in the pit entry, an RFID scanner to be precise, which can scan cars and tyres as they come through the pit lane. Now that gives them an unfair advantage because they can tell things like tyre pressure, which set of tyres each team and driver are using, and then be able to adopt their strategy as a result. Interestingly, that means John-Eric Verne's lap is gone and both DS Penske cars will be starting from the pit lane. As a result, we now only have one driver in the top 5, Jake Dennis, finding their way into the duels. Let's see what happens.
Whoa, Nikki.
What a disaster for DS Penske. You know, this is effectively a big home race for them. They were expecting big results. We weren't expecting them to do something like that. I mean, do you think they were just trying to get away with it? What's the school of thought behind that, Oliver?
Yeah, certainly trying to get every kind of advantage that they can, but maybe misread a couple of sentences in the rule book, and that's going to bite them today. But like I mentioned earlier, yeah, it doesn't really matter where you're starting on the grid. Starting on pit lane, though, can be a completely different story. They have a lot of time to make up starting from there.
Yeah, I mean, Jean-Eric Verne, given the fact that he is one of the championship contenders, 5th in the championship at the moment, is going to be absolutely fuming. And we know what kind of a temper Jean-Eric Verne has, so I wouldn't like to be part of the conversation going on the back of the garage at the moment. Let's talk about Jaguar TCS Racing, because, again, Mitch Evans didn't make it out on track, and Sam Bird was pushing so hard. We heard him on the team radio saying, you know, guys, this is all I've got to give. Are they going to be able to claw it back in the race?
Yeah, it just seems like the Jag powertrains in general didn't have much of a pace in qualifying. You know, we all know that qualifying pace and the way they're going to race is completely different. So I wouldn't be too worried about. I'm sure they're going to be more focused on the race and really being efficient and positioning themselves well in the race to obviously score as many points as they can. But clearly in qualifying, all the 4 powertrains from Jag, they didn't have that extra speed that they needed for qualifying.
Fantastic result for McLaren. 1 and 3, sorry, both through to the duels.
Yes, very good. And that's a team that's had a lot of outright pace in qualifying through the year. They have struggled somewhat in race conditions, so we'll see if they can turn that around this weekend.
All right, well done to Jake Dennis as well, one of our championship contenders, the only championship contender, in fact, who has managed to make it through to the duel. So let's find out who could be on pole position.
Well, it's going to be a fun battle to see who does make it through the quarterfinals and make it into the semi-finals, and then of course the final itself.
If I can just talk over Ben Edwards for a second. Does this mean John-Eric Verne has been thrown out of qualifying? Or does this just mean they start from the pit lane no matter what happens?
Dry, warm day. Overheating everybody, enjoying being in the grandstands, soaking up the atmosphere.
Just you and me, Adam.
Of watching Formula E running at its most, because when they go back out for the quarterfinals, they'll be up to the extra energy in the cars at 350 kilowatts. So they're actually going a little bit quicker.
Pick the great moment.
Yeah, they'll be going a bit quicker. They'll be putting a little bit more energy through the tyre and
fight
working that a
over
little
Ben
bit harder,
Edwards
especially in that final chicane bit at the end of the lap when the tyres have kind of said, look, I've had enough. But they've still got
anyway,
a couple of
I'm not quite sure what the rule is.
That's what the fans have come to see. Drivers working
they set up
in Portland, they love their motorsport. They love this raceway.
To monitor the other tyre pressures from the other teams.
Whatever the event,
and that's
they've
illegal,
definitely got a good event today.
Yeah, it's great to see a big queue of people all waiting to come in. But we're getting ready for the first of
Josh has
the
decided he doesn't want to
and,
commentate anymore.
We're
He's just going to let
Nato
Ben Edwards
versus
do all the
Verne, the
work.
other quarterfinals.
Which is a great audition for somebody who wants to be the Formula E commentator. Yeah, there we go. Confirmation then. Verne will be in the first duel with Nelman Nato. And I think next duel is Gunther, isn't it? And
Yes,
somebody
it
else.
As far as I'm aware, yeah. Sorry about that. Hello.
Oh, there we go, Josh.
Mike would not
What you
unmute.
decided, Ben Edwards. Oh, your microphone failed.
Yeah,
Okay.
it wouldn't unmute, so I had to get that sorted. Right, NATO versus Verne. Predictor saying 60% for Verne. That's a brave call. What do you guys
start
think?
from the pit lane either way, so it really doesn't matter because of what we just heard. I'm gonna go 100% Norman Nato.
I'll agree.
0% Jean-Eric Verne, because
I mean,
knowing
yeah,
that the team has probably not told him. He hasn't told him, but almost doesn't matter if Verne wins this duel because he's not. Yeah, would they give him the 3 points for pole position if he's going to be thrown out of qualifying and start at the back of the grid anyway.
Yeah.
It's not really being thrown out of qualifying, is it? Because he still gets to finish his laps in the duels.
So, are you ready for this? This is quite
He
good.
might still get the 3 points. Go on.
This is our screen we've been having for ages, but we have now invented this. The dual screen, where you can now see the top 2 in the session, as well as all their sector times and the final times. You still get the driver tracker, and you still get all of us in the comms box. So this is our new dual screen for the qualifying formats. It's only taken us a year and 3/4 to get it sorted, but we've got it now.
I can read you the FIA sheet very quickly about, so the session that this happened in was before free practice 2, so that's when they set these sensors up. Equipment installed at pit exit in breach of regulations as detailed herein. Breach of Article 8.9 of the FIA International Sporting Code of Software Implementation Guide. Fine of €225,000. In addition, car 1, Stoffel van Dorn, and car 25, John-Eric Verner, to start the race from pit lane.
Oh my God.
Stewards advised by technical that the competitor had installed equipment in the pit lane this morning that was able to collect data from all cars concerning the tyres fitted by scanning the barcodes. It's forbidden in general to install or place equipment in the pit lane. Second, the collection data of this method gives the competitor a lot of information, which is huge and unfair advantage. Taking all the circumstances together, the stewards feel that the given penalty is appropriate as NATO gets underway.
So effectively, this doesn't matter.
True.
Yeah.
Not for the race, but Vern could still get the 3 points for
That's
if he
true.
finishes on pole, essentially.
So everybody who is a championship contender is starting this race right at the back of the field, bar
From
Jake
Jake
Dennis.
Oh!
I mean, it's
Josh,
just...
you and I are gonna.
It's game on.
Josh, you and I are gonna have fun later tonight.
Ed's going to be sat in the dark corner just crossing his fingers, and then if he's
Yeah,
got something to say, he'll lean into the
It will
microphone.
become irrelevant no matter what happens because all sorts of crazy things can happen. But NATO ahead at the moment on this quali lap by about 1/10 and 4 thousandths.
Finally, we can see the sector times. 27 dead for NATO first sector, 17-1 second sector. But yeah, Vern is now back ahead with a stellar middle sector. Too close to call.
See?
Norman NATO across, there you go. Norman NATO across the line then on the first of these duels in the quarterfinals. NATO does a 1:09.118. What does Jean-Eric Vern do? He is at the back of the field in the pit lane. Does this matter? Yes, for the points. Cross the line, and Vern makes the point mute. 1:09.240.
Give out. At least he got to participate in the duel, and Norman, I think he'll still feel that's a legitimate win, and it is, to be fair, because he still set a better time. And good stuff from Norman NATO, because he's not had an easy time of it lately.
No, he hasn't.
Has been qualifying well, hasn't he? At least in Monaco comes to mind. Races or Brazil he qualified well in as well. So yeah, some Nissan could get another pole position here because we still got Fenestraz still to come. In fact, next up against Gunther, and Fenestraz beat him before as well.
Now I need to get Josh T off the screen.
In fact, Fenestraz beat Gunther for the pole position shootout in Cape Town, didn't he?
Yeah. Someone just texted him saying he can come back in now, but I didn't have that setting on yet. So he can come back in now. Come back in and hang around. Just needed him out the way for a second. As I come across...
Four's the crowd, Josh. Four's the crowd.
There's 7 in my garden.
One of the Joshes has got to go, and here comes Gunther.
Well, I should have been in Portland, so I would have gone. Anyway, across the line. Gunther starts it. Fenestraz in there too. Sasha Fenestraz and the Nissan has looked really strong this weekend. Can he do anything in the first sector? We've got our delta times at the top of the monitor with the joules. And at the moment in the first sector, Adam, 3,000 difference.
Helmet with Fenestraz.
All right.
Instead of NATO.
I don't think my YouTube chat is working. Because people have probably been texting and I can't see it. It's blank on my side, so I'm refreshing it. Tell you what, Adam, this is a strong
You can have
one.
a look if you want.
Oh, please, yeah. This is a strong one, Adam, to see who's going to get through. Gunther v Fenestraz. Whoever fails here, and it could be Gunther, he's 2 tenths down. Fenestraz on a move.
Yeah, I mean, from what we've seen so far in practice and now here in qualified, Nissan has looked really, really strong. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Norman NATO gets the pole position for the Portland E-Prix later tonight. He was fast. He was fastest in FP1, and he's living up to it here so far in duels.
Gunther 109.160. Here comes Sasha Fenestraz out the last corner here of turn 12. He's a little bit twitchy. The car nearly in the wall. How did he save that? The rear of the car stepped out, and he just held it with the front. No power steering, and he's still faster by a tenth of a second. 109.060. That snap, Ed, cost him a tenth of a second, but it's Fenestraz going through.
Yeah, brilliant car control from Sasha Fenestraz. So, two Nissans through. That means it's going to be Fenestraz versus NATO in the semi-final then.
Oh, that's going to be good. That's
the quarter-final. Is this the semi-final? I forget how the quarters and semis work.
Yeah.
So it looks like somebody else being sent out there for the next quality lap. But Fenestraz, one pole position to his name already from Cape Town. I think he's probably going to be the favourite against NATO. But anyway, next it's Hughes versus Dennis.
Oh, this is a good one. 73% for Dennis. Hughes 27, but I wouldn't be too sure on this one.
It's Jake versus Jake then. But you've got to say momentum's behind Dennis.
I'm going Jake Dennis. I'm going Jake Dennis to advance to semis.
My sake, I've got to hope it's Jake Dennis.
We need. If he gets eliminated here, it makes the race really interesting. So can I go for Hughes just to make the race completely bonkers?
There's nothing stopping you.
Yeah.
Put Jake Hughes in the car.
Oh, hello. Sasha Fenestraz has only just come into the pit lane, and Hughes was Dennis was past him. Now that's not technically allowed to happen in the regulations because it could be construed as blocking. So we'll see if anything comes to that on the race control.
See, maybe one of them made a mistake.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dennis going on his way. You notice Dennis very careful through the first chicane. He's not running on the curves very much at all.
It's more like a street circuit, this isn't, Adam. It's too tight in places. We go from a massive 4-wide start straight, then it narrows in on itself, and it always catches the IndyCar drivers out. We always see crashes that first chicane.
Yes, we've seen it over the years, and right now it looks like JQ is slightly ahead of Jake Dennis and the Avalanche Andretti.
Anymore. It swung the other way.
Here comes Jake Dennis.
Half a 10th in it.
It's really tight now across the line. Thousandths of a second separate who can go through. Hughes across the line. 109.385. Here comes Dennis in the Avalanche Andretti with the Porsche powertrain. Puts foot hard down. Electric power whirs out the back. You can hear it charging up across the line. Is it fast for Dennis? Yes! 109.111. He's 2.5 tenths faster than Hughes. Dennis goes through and will progress to the semi-finals. Well, this is fun.
Excellent performance there from Dennis then.
Yeah, Josh. I mean, like I said, I think that Andretti momentum, with Michael Andretti having success here in the past in the NTT IndyCar series is now carrying over here to Formula E. So Jake Dennis is looking like a strong candidate, to get a pole position and maybe even win here at Portland.
Go on, Ed.
I was going to say, let's give Jake Dennis some credit. Michael's not the one in the car, but I see what you mean. All that experience has helped setting up because he knows the place very well. And Rene Rast, it looks like predictors going his way rather than Antonio Felix da Costa's way. I think people sort of feel da Costa was key to get in, but here we are. He did set a good lap in his Group 2, and now he's got to beat Rene Rast as he starts his lap.
My money's on Rast. Super quick across the weekend.
Yes, I'm with Josh. I'm with you. It's called.
Well, I'll go different. I think da Costa can get lucky.
No, it's called. Rene Rast has a good shot to win here at Portland. He's been fast all
that though,
all
3 tenths
long.
quicker in the first sector.
Wow.
So Rene's really made a bit of a meal of him.
It's looking super strong here. Rast.
Rene closes in.
Oh, it's 3 tenths. It's quite a lot of time to catch back, but he's doing it. Middle sector.
After the Max Verstappen final sector.
He's 3 tenths down. He's half that. Da Costa's going to come across the line. What's his gambit? Powers it out.
Hope it's not Queen's gambit.
Final chess move. Is it checkmate? It's a 109.453. That's slow. What can Rast do? Out of the last corner. 3 tenths down in the first sector. Half a tenth down in the second sector. And across the line is a tenth up. What a lap from Rene Rast.
We thought it was checkmate, but we're playing Chinese checkers now.
Fantastic!
Yeah.
Rast goes through. And honestly, Amazing from McLaren. Absolutely amazing. Rust.
Maybe maybe instead of Chinese checkers, I should have said Saudi Arabian shekel stealing or something.
There's Rust.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's the...
from what we've seen here in McLaren, maybe the McLaren Formula E team should give some of that momentum to Formula One team. And since we haven't seen McLaren do really good so far, Formula One.
See, this is
here.
And this is the exact same argument people are making about when Ferrari won Le Mans. It's just like, oh, maybe they should give some of that magic to the F1 team. It doesn't work like that. AF Corsa and Scuderia Ferrari are different teams, different personnel. Same with McLaren. It's basically the old Mercedes outfit. Surely the only thing that they haven't kept on is the drivers, I think.
Zach Brown's there, though. He's involved in it heavily with the Formula E side, as well as the IndyCar lot.
He stands there in his bright orange shirt and reaps all the rewards and sort of acts like Ian James has sort of just taken orders from him. But anyway, Rene Rast got through. Jake Hughes did not, so it's going to be Rast versus Dennis. But first up, it's Nissan All-Stars with a NATO versus Fenestras. So I've only got one here, so I'm going to have to be creative.
Get nominators and someone with a similar livery. That'll do it.
I'll just put him on the side here. Right.
That'll work.
Hang on.
Oh, that'll work,
Yeah, that would work. All right, let's head back downstairs. We've got a few minutes to go until the next session starts here up in the comms box for the ABB FA Formula E Southwire Portland Prix. 7 minutes to go then. And let's head back downstairs.
John-Eric Byrne through to the duels, but no further than the quarterfinals. How was it for yourself?
I don't know. It was a little bit difficult because the team told me just before qualifying that I would start from pit lane because of an issue that happened for both Stoff and I don't think it was very good. I mean, it doesn't put you in the best of state, going into quali. But nevertheless, I mean, we are trying a good job. First chicane braking was a bit tricky, and this is where I lost this little tense. But anyway, it would not have changed much knowing that I start from pit lane.
Historically this season, when it's come to a new lap, a new circuit, you've done pretty well. Hyderabad, for example. With all your experience, will that help when it comes to the race?
It has nothing to do with Hyderabad, this track. It's completely different. It's completely new for Formula E. It's going to be a new kind of racing this afternoon. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I hope I can definitely come back even starting from pit lane.
And touching on that, in terms of the scanner situation, what actually took place?
I don't know. I didn't want to know anything about it. And to be honest, I'm a bit upset. Not because of that, but just because they told me just before qualifying. They just changed nothing. So, yeah, would have been better to know after quali.
Thanks for your time, mate.
Thank you.
Exactly. That is horrible mind management from DS Penske. Obviously, they want to be honest with the driver. You can't hide it from him forever. But to tell him just before he has to set up a lap against Norman Nato, if you're not telling him that, there's every chance he could have maybe had a better run through the first chicane and got through.
Maybe push that extra and maybe have a little chance of going off and damaging the car right before the race. It's a bit of a tricky one. I mean, I think if I was a team principal, I would tell my driver regardless, because you're going to start in the back, so don't take any risks in qualifying. There's nothing you can do. Unfortunately, we did a mistake, so that
Some bigger saying the other opinion then.
Yeah, you just need to focus on what's in your control. So obviously that is a circumstance completely out of Jev's control, and he needs to focus on the race now, trying to maybe hope for a safety car and a chance to catch the pack up again.
Claw it back. Just very quickly, can we talk about René Rastelap? Because he kind of threw it away in the first sector, 4 tenths down, and then clawed his way back up to beat Da Costa to get into the semis. Fantastic result for McLaren.
Yeah, an amazing lap and an amazing last 2 sectors. I don't know if, obviously we didn't hear the radio communications between Porsche and Da Costa, but after seeing that little sloppy first 2 corners from René Rast, I would have told Da Costa, okay, take it easy the rest of the lap because you're like 3-4 tenths ahead. Just finish your lap. You're gonna pass this one. And I don't know if the team didn't speak to him, but I think he was pushing. It wasn't really clean, and René Rast managed to get a very good lap, and he managed to pass him.
He did indeed. Straight into the semi-finals. Let's find out who is going to make it through to the final.
Well, this is all going to be fun and games coming up, and particularly when we get into the first of the semi-finals between the two.
I want to mute that mic, Josh.
We'll see how that goes. In fact, funnily enough, when Nato makes it, it's always against Fenestras. So last sector, it was interesting what Nelson was saying about Costa.
It's very close. It's not enough. 1.5 tenths. Lost all in the last sector.
There we go. So Da Costa was worried about the rear axle and went too safe into the final couple of corners there. So that's what cost Porsche a chance to get into the fight for pole position then. So Da Costa will start no better than 5th, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, with all the championship contenders that start in the back, you know this is going to be a very intense race this called.
Da Costa is 63 points down as well, so he does have a small chance of winning. And here is him with Radzi.
Through to the duels is a small positive, but we haven't really understood what this track and car combination really needs. So we've been struggling a little bit. So starting in the top 10, it's a good thing. Starting in the top 8, we got a really quick and efficient car in the race. This we know. So I think the race is definitely on for us. But definitely something to understand when we go back home, because yeah, it hasn't been an easy day for us so far.
Where's your head at in terms of the race? Because you often talk about winning, obviously, but is it about the championship at this point? Is it about getting team points? Where's your head at?
I think helping Pascal, #1 priority. He's obviously going to be starting a little bit behind, but if he does get to the front, then I'll be there to, to help him and help him score some good points. But yeah, the team's championship is a crucial one for us as well. We're leading that one, and it's super close. And so yeah, the goal is definitely to bring that one back to Stuttgart at the end of the year. We'll give it a go today with some big points.
With all of your experience, how do you adapt to now having a circuit as opposed to a street race? 'Cause it feels different here.
It feels a little bit different, but honestly, mate, it's just 4 wheels, a steering wheel, and still a powertrain. So we just go as fast as we can.
Simple. Sometimes all the experience means it becomes very simple.
Yeah, hopefully, or maybe I just don't know what I'm doing. So one of the two.
Race well today.
Thank you.
But now we are getting ready for these semi-finals to get underway in just a few moments' time.
Here we go then. Tensions beginning to rise. For
there you are.
I'm here. I've got a stopwatch, which was telling me all the times. Right, SH, Brother JP, nice to see you. Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the session so far. I'm very excited to see these cars race on a road course, so are we. Josh T says, I can hear the TV picks and Ed and Adam.
Because you left it on.
Yeah, because I
buggered off without saying anything, as usual.
I said, let's go down to the pit lane with Nikki.
It's true, but then you never came back until
because
like 5 minutes later.
Yeah, 5 minutes 15, who's counting? But it's because they were there, so I sort of left it because there was no point coming back for a little bit.
Right, fair enough.
That's the cue we come.
I just don't know what's going on in your head sometimes. It seems like you're away with the fairies half the time, Josh.
I usually am. I'm doing like a million things at once as well, trying to get this sorted. But the semi-finals will be quick.
You always talk about, it's such a big sacrifice during these sorts of streams, but it feels like it's kind of like, just put this on yourself. We're deciding to cover every MotoGP series in Christendom at the same time.
Yeah.
Feels like no human being can realistically do that, Josh. I know you're trying your best, but
I do well.
leave it to a couple others. You can leave 1 or 2 out, no one will blame you.
Did I mention that we were considering adding NASCAR?
Or 36 rounds. So,
yeah,
okay.
That might finish me off. Although I'm trying to get USRN in on that, and then I'll hop in for a couple of them. So it sort of all works together. One thing I love about Formula E, the copyright-free music. Love it.
Well, I mean, they haven't flagged it yet when we used it.
Nah, Dorna do, but then we're fine. Yeah, I won that case.
Let's not talk about Dorna, shall we?
No, I won it this morning. I won the case. All done. I win.
Oh, nice.
Champion.
All right.
There wasn't really a case to be had, but look at that mountaintop in Portland.
Do you know?
I believe it. I do believe that is about a foot. And
can we go hiking? I want to go hiking. I'd love that. Get their trackside. Hike their mountain.
Oh, we'd go hiking with the Cub Scouts, but I'm not sure you'd enjoy that quite as much, Josh. Because the kids.
Nah, I don't think I'd be allowed. I'd push them off the side of the cliff halfway up the thing because they'd be moaning.
I mean, guys, when I lived in New Hampshire before moving to North Carolina, I was a Boy Scout once, so it's called. I used to do a lot of hiking, so it's called. It wouldn't.
My mum was a brownie.
Bother me a bit.
Tell you what, I think my brother. If I, can you just take it for a second while I go and find out what exactly he was? I know, man, I've remembered it. He went to Anchor Boys for like 2 days or something or other. Or was that preschool?
Okay.
I can't remember. It's one of the two.
That's good for him. But anyway, the 2 Nissans getting out here. Norman Nato versus Sacha Fenestraz. They went together toe-to-toe in a semi-final before in Monaco, and it was Sacha Fenestraz that triumphed on that occasion, although he didn't get pole position in the end because Jake Hughes got it. It's going to be Norman Nato that crosses the line first, followed closely by his teammate Sacha Fenestraz. So who's your money on, guys?
Oh, it's a brave call.
Norman Nato.
I nearly split my Nissan in halves to give Nato something to drive here, but I'm just going to put the figure on his own, right at the very front.
I think Sacha Fenestraz, but it's too close.
He's clearly got. I think my money would be on Sacha as well, to be honest. Here comes Norman then.
Adam is really adamant it's going to be Norman Nato. I think it could be Nato. Third in the session in the group stages, of course. Fenestraz though did top it, but Nato topped practice 2 earlier on. So
tenth and a half up already for Sacha.
3 tenths up. Come on, TV pictures. Catch up. Don't sink on us now. Here we go.
Here you go.
Fenestraz across. Yeah, D-sync. That's the one. 3 tenths up. What's happened to Norman Nato? He can all catch it back, though, in the last sector. Breaking very early. Coming in, though, towards turn 8 and 9. Flicks it in. Up towards the line. What's the gambit for Norman Nato, then, in the first semi-final? Fenestraz is up by 3 tenths. Nato across the line in Nissan 1:109.264. Sacha Fenestraz out of the last corner of turn 12, gives it the welly, and he does.
Oh, right up against the wall again.
Did he hit it? Might have touched it. He's up.
Brushed it.
1:08.920, fastest lap of the weekend.
I'd love to see the top speed he did on that lap, but
yeah,
they were teammates. Sacha was certainly pushing it, wasn't he? For all he was worth. And it felt like Norman Nato knew there was. He sort of gave up about halfway through that lap, I think.
Yeah. And Team Mario with Sacha.
I think he's happy.
That's what I love about him. He's sort of French Argentinian, isn't he? So he's sort of the most emotional of both worlds. He's very passionate about his racing with Sacha. Always great to hear. And now, semi-final 2, René Rast versus Jake Dennis. And you've got to think, a Nissan's made it through. Can it be 2 Nissan power cars, or can Dennis sneak through in the Avalanche Andretti Porsche?
I think it'll be Jake Dennis in the Avalanche Andretti Porsche. It's because he's been strong. He's been strong too in there. Predictor vote, was 61%.
René Rast was the fastest in the group stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wants all those points.
Oh, look at that twitch. As he went through the first chicane, I think I might go Dennis here as well, actually, to be honest. Here he goes then, up into the first chicane.
He looks a bit slow on entry. Not exactly too fast.
He always looks a bit slow, but he's quick out on the exit though.
Punches. Like we America, we get punch it Chewie, now we get punch it Jakey. He's out!
Star Wars, not America, that's a galaxy far, far away, Josh.
I don't know. Have you heard their Milky Ways?
Not for me.
No, not for Adam. Adam's over there. He lives there. He is the American. I call him our version of Danica Patrick. He turns up for the American races.
Yes, I know Josh is called.
Except that he looks and sounds nothing like Danica Patrick.
Yeah, but Danica turns up for those races. Here we go then.
Yeah, that's true. F1 covers. Yeah.
Who's going to appear in the final?
Okay,
Get in a second. Rast across the line. Is he in the final or not? It's a 1:09.374. But Jake Dennis. He's got to have that good last sector. He doesn't make a mistake. Dennis might have this one. The reign of McLaren is over. It rusts in peace as Dennis takes it across the line. Is he quicker or not? Yes, by 4.5 tenths of a second. It's Jake Dennis versus Sacha Fenestraz in the final for pole position of the Southwire Portland E-Prix.
Yeah, and let's have a look at that lap time. What was it? It was a 1:08.91. So was that almost as quick as Sacha Fenestraz?
Yes.
Just slightly slower.
I'm amazed by this. I've never seen such a bizarre qualifying this season.
You say we got the man second in the championship fighting for pole position. You say it's bizarre, and we got a man who's been on pole before as well. Yeah, but I think Jake Dennis should really have been on pole for the opener, and probably would have been if they had let him prepare his front wing when it fell off, hit a bit of the curb on the polystyrene cones or something, wasn't it? At Mexico on the exit on the corners. so he wasn't allowed to fix a bit of his front wing, so he was going with it flapping off, and still managed to qualify second, but was beaten by Lucas de Grassi, who, let's be honest, got very, very lucky in that opener. He's not been anywhere near the podium ever since. But yeah, I think Jake Dennis could be on for his first pole of the season, and right the first opportunity that he needs it. But Sasha Fenestras is going to be tough to beat because his one lap speed has been absolutely prodigious this season.
Underneath the bridge of the finish line here in Portland. Let's hear from Jake.
Ultimately not good enough.
Go and ring Fraser and tell Sasha to not put it on par with the 3 points.
Oh! Wow. 7 minutes, 20 seconds until the final starts. And it's Fenestras versus Dennis for the Portland E-Prix.
That shows he's worried about Fenestras, doesn't it?
Mega worried.
Yeah, well, you got.
I kind of would be worried too. But I think it'd be kind of cool.
Drivers are trying to bribe their rivals in Superpole, not Superpole, in the Duels, to get pole position.
And also, it would be kind of cool to see. You know, you could sort of say this is a home race for Avalanche and Jody Porsche. I mean, how cool is it, to have Jake Dennis on the pole? You know, in the team's home race. I think it'd be kind of cool, and obviously I did pick him to win, so hopefully he can sit on the pole, and then hopefully he can win, so I can catch you, Ed. I don't see how. I mean, that's start of the year. I don't know how you did it, but you did it.
I picked Jake Dennis as my pick a winner, as I said earlier.
Good.
So it's going to be, I think we're hoping for the same thing, to be honest. Here's Norman Nato then.
Yeah, let's go down to Norman Nato and then stay with Nicky Shields to let everyone know.
Yeah, thank you. Now, honestly, like after a really strong FP2 where I topped the session and being in this position for an exciting race, I think so, ahead of us. It's a good position for sure, a bit of frustration because I really had the feeling that I couldn't make it to pole position today, but yeah, I'm not so happy about my lap. It's some mistake, cost me a bit of lap time, but it's a good position.
It took a special lap from your teammate, but also brilliant momentum after what we saw in Jakarta to now continue it here.
Yeah, exactly. You know, in Jakarta, day one, we were pretty nowhere, and we managed to turn around on day two with a 5th and 4th in race, which was our first time of the year with both car in points, so it's already like a good step for us. And today, again, we managed to put both cars together in duels, which is something as well we only did in Monaco. So yeah, it shows that we're improving a lot, and so far it's a good day. But now the most important will arrive.
Hopefully, the good day continues. Thank you.
Massive step forward there for Nissan. And let's not forget, of course, McLaren are running the Nissan powertrain. So 3 Nissan powertrains making it through to the semi-finals there. But this is getting exciting for Jake Dennis because, you know, as we mentioned, 3 points for pole position. This is valuable. It might not mean that much actually during the course of the race, starting from the front of the grid, but those 3 points are invaluable at this point in the championship.
Yeah, definitely. And the season in this championship has been so close since the very beginning, so we can only expect that by the time we get to London, it's only going to be separated by a couple of points. So yeah, if Jake can have a chance to take a little extra today in qualifying, he's gonna enjoy that.
It's kind of ironic because he was saying earlier this week that actually he thinks he can win the race from the back of the grid because he's got such a fast powertrain, but he's clearly set his sights on pole position.
Nah, he's doing an amazing job, always quick. Different kind of tracks. He got here. Actually, when Pascal Wehrlein didn't qualify too well in Group A, I thought, well, is maybe the Porsche powertrain not going to be as quick over here? But then, obviously, Da Costa, Jake, everybody went forward. They went to the duels, and it's not good for Wehrlein. Definitely starting in the back where he's going to start is going to be a tricky one. Obviously, in the race, you're going to be able to recover positions pretty easily. But I'm sure Wehrlein is a bit annoyed that Jake might get those extra points.
Oh, absolutely. And obviously another good story, Sasha Fenestras, who's done phenomenally well over the past couple of races. 2 4th places in the last 3 races. So everything is still to play for pole position here in Portland.
Getting all set now for the final runoff. The last battle in the duels to determine who is going to be on pole position here in Portland for the first Formula E race that has ever been held here. And we've got a tremendous battle in prospect, there's no doubt about it. The number 23 car, the Nissan of Sacha Fenestraz, who has been putting in some very impressive performances in qualifying this year. They don't always have the race pace that they would like to have, but this youngster has shown a lot of people that he knows how to get a very rapid lap. But he's up against Jake Dennis, a little more experienced in Formula E and also a big fighter in the championship. Now, he's not actually had a pole position at all this year, Jake Dennis, whereas Fenestraz has managed to do it. He managed to do it in Cape Town and actually was the fastest qualifier in Monaco, although didn't end up with pole. There's Michael Andretti of the Avalanche Andretti team of Jake Dennis, and he's had pole here in the past himself in the days of Champ Car and IndyCar racing. Can the team get the pole position and, more importantly, the 3 points that would actually take him into the lead of the championship before the race even gets underway? And as you were mentioning, Alan, those extra points that you get for pole positions and fastest laps can sometimes make all the difference in terms of winning a title. That could be important today.
Yeah, the details count, and the details are definitely going to count when it comes to this final run in qualifying. It's going to be about who gets the front tyres up to temperature, who gets it into that first chicane, and ultimately who makes it out of the final chicane, Ben, where we've seen so many people struggling as their tyres are basically giving up at that particular point. They've just had enough.
To the final.
So yeah, we're just looking down at the circuit and just looking at some of the action that we have seen from both of them. This was Fenestraz earlier on into that final little sequence, not using as much curb as some drivers do, but that often is a mistake because it bounces you out too wide.
Yeah, he was neat and tidy.
I do love Ben Edwards. Who doesn't love Ben Edwards? I'm back. Hello. My little stopwatch works.
Hey, Josh. And the unique thing about this is they get to hear us through a commentary most of the time.
The what? I don't get it. What?
Did I break up or?
I didn't get what you said. I mean, I was just putting my headphones on.
What I was saying is people don't tune into this to listen to Ben Edwards because they could just tune in to the actual stream to do that. Tune in here to listen to you, Josh.
That's
and
true.
Occasionally me, and Adam, and a few others.
Yeah, but not during the boring bits where there's nothing to talk about. Then we can just let the world feed deal with it. During the exciting bits, we'll hog all that glory for ourselves. Friend of
So
mine's
the
just...
skill to sort of just. It's like you don't even want to talk to us, Josh. I feel so left out.
We've got 45 minutes to talk about things later on today. We've got to keep something going. Also...
Well, no, I wanted to get my talking done now because I won't get to do it later because
That's
everyone will be in bed and asking me to shut up. So.
Yeah, banging on the doors. Myself and Adam will
Yeah,
take the
predictor
lead.
vote is going the way of Jake Dennis. I actually think Fenestraz is my favourite here. I think Sasha's probably going to be quicker.
Jake Dennis is going to be my pick. I mean, we saw who was down there.
But I think Sasha's quicker.
Yeah, I'm going Jake Dennis.
It's a tricky one to call this, as it feels like my finger's been arthritis as well, so I'm going to get that around. It's because the garden's open. It's just massively hay fevery up here. Green light, away we go then. So Fenestraz out first, Dennis out second in this little run. Let's see what's going to happen in this session. Who do you think then, guys? You said Dennis, but come on, Fenestraz. Can he get one?
Didn't I? So, yeah, I'm going to stick with that, I guess. But I would be pleasantly surprised if Dennis beats him. And works for me either way.
You've got everything sorted there. Hay fever is unbelievable. Don't have it. Don't have hay fever.
Don't think loads of hay fever have meant for a choice, Josh, as you know.
Do a Voldemort. Don't have a nose. Oh, it's
Jesus.
so bad. It's so
Don't tell
bad.
people to cut their nose off, Josh.
All right. I don't know. Michael Jackson. He didn't have a nose, did he?
Okay, well, I'm not sure that has the most positive connotations either, but Michael Jackson's at least a real person. Yes.
Anyway, back to our race. I don't know what the hell's this. This is the end of the year TikTok show.
This is the hay fever-induced seizure that Josh is having now.
It's also really hot in this commentary box with this main light on. Away we go then for the final.
You can see why you didn't want to commentate very much now.
It's so hot. Cross the line then. Fenestraz into the first chicane. Looks okay at the exit. Now watch Dennis. He was having, as we've said, slow exits out of turn number 1. So who's he going to be then to be on pole position into the first chicane? Hey, it's quicker this time around, isn't it? It's a lot smoother from Dennis, and that's the best one we've seen him do.
Let's see, he doesn't get... Oh, almost touches the grass there at turn 3, but just about avoids it. And Fenestraz is slightly ahead then at the end of the turns 3 and 4 then.
It's a 26.918 in the first sector for Fenestraz. Dennis a 26.940. Fenestraz second sector 17.105. Here it comes for Dennis, 17.13. It is 51 thousandths of a second separating the two as they go for pole position in the Southwire Portland E-Prix. Up towards the last two. First lap time will be coming on the board for Sasha Fenestraz in the Nissan. It is a 109.010. Dennis is closing him in out of the last corner.
Oh, 1,000th of a second, Josh.
It's really tight to the exit of the corner. Nothing separates them. Fenestraz versus Dennis. Who's going to be on pole position for the first ever Portland E-Prix across the line? It's Dennis by 79 thousandths of a second. It's a 108.931, the second fastest time we've seen this year. And Jake Dennis knocks it out of the park and lines up P1 for the first ever standing start at Portland.
Hey Josh, who called that?
Well done, Adam. You did call it.
Thank you.
Bang on.
This means Jake
71.
Dennis takes the lead in the championship as well with those 3 points.
That's brilliant! That's right. Jake Dennis is now leading the tip.
Well done.
Oh, and I feel sorry for you having missed this race tonight. It's called Josh.
Oh,
Josh has got.
I'm not missing the race, by the way. I'm just going to be here, but very quiet.
Yeah,
so
he'll be in the same image, but just quiet.
I mean, this could be the greatest race of the season. Later tonight, guys. I mean, with all the championship.
You say that about every race, though.
Yeah. But Jake Dennis is now the new championship leader, and he's starting on pole at Fast Club World Line. It's starting in the back. I think we're in for a cracker.
And Nick Cassidy near the back as well.
That's true. We had Nick Cassidy too.
Hey, first pole of the year. Woo! Yeah, boy.
That is. Dennis'
gotta love Jake Dennis.
Race as well, mate. Mega job.
11 months since his last pole position in Formula E. My goodness me.
Would have been London, right?
Yeah,
second
London.
race in London.
I wasn't even there for that one. Megan took that race in London.
There, but I was like on site rather
You were
than
on
there
site,
as in here.
yeah. We had, I think that was a completely different commentary team that day in the crazy weekend. But now they've moved the London E-Prix, so it doesn't infect with Formula One's Belgium Grand Prix. Oh, and Fenestraz did touch the wall coming out of that last corner.
Oh, nearest, damn it, he did.
Oh, it's just so tight there.
Language. He did, yes, you're right, Josh.
Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised to hear that there will be another E-Prix in Portland next season, says Brother JP. That's a fantastic poll for Jake Dennis. Top dollar. Let's hear from Sasha
Top pound, I
Fenestraz.
think.
Top
if
pound,
we're doing
yeah.
the British way for Dennis.
That's true. Yeah, but we are in America, so let's go
That's
Euro.
true, in his American team.
Yes. That's true.
Yes.
Is that the first time Andretti have had a pole on home soil then? Can't remember them being
They on pole in Long Beach with Vern back in the first season. I seem to remember... No, it was Daniel Abt, I think, and they finished second in the race.
Yeah. What is it with the cameramen? I'll tell you what, we had one swearing during practice too. We heard one of the TV directors, and he was going SHT's name as well, the abbreviation for it as well. Sorry, I made a mistake there. And we could hear him talking over it live as day. It was really, really bizarre.
Westbury Gillette then.
Yeah.
He's the broadcast director. Seems that somebody messed up on the vision mixer, possibly Westbury himself.
Yes.
But anyway, these things happen, and it's pretty hot out there. So.
I just hope someone's given Nikki Shields a nice air-conditioned room.
She's
to sit
pregnant
in.
again.
She's pregnant again.
Or
Yeah.
she's recently been pregnant. I know that.
Yeah, this
feels
is,
like she's just continuously pregnant every time I see her.
Pregnant in season 3. No, pregnant season 4. Pregnant season 8 and pregnant season 9. I think. But yes.
It's amazing that she still comes to as many races as she does.
This is her last one. I think she's doing London, but I think that's it. So she's not doing Rome, but she's doing London. And I think...
a lot of travel here.
Yeah. I think Vernon's back in Rome hosting. I'm 90% certain on that.
Yeah, I thought it was Radzi. I thought Vernon had time
is he
to do his
completely
radio
gone?
gig.
Oh, right.
He's doing his Radio 2 breakfast primetime slot.
I see. Right, let's go down here to our pole sitter.
Jake Dennis, pole sitter in Portland and now championship leader. How are you feeling?
Oh, ecstatic, you know. Once I was into the duels, I was pretty happy with that, just to sort of get away a bit from the mayhem from the start. And then it was just sort of chipping away, got to the final. I was like, right, okay, whether I start first or second will make no difference for the race performance, but the 3 points was crucial. And we went all out, and yeah, I didn't nail the start of the lap, so I just went full risk in sector 3, where you can gain quite a lot of time. And I managed to do just that and put like a 10th and a half on Sasha because I was behind. But yeah, incredible job, considering practice was like really not smooth for us. We weren't even in the top 15 in both practice sessions, so yeah, nailed it when it mattered.
You've gone from a season that started so well, a bit of hard luck, and all of a sudden things have turned around. Your confidence must be off the charts.
Yeah, it really is. You know, I've got a really strong team around me. Andretti have supplied such a great car for me all year, and to, you know, keep this form going. You know, that's 3 front rows in a row now. So yeah, I need to do the job later. Ultimately, anyone can win this race. It's going to be a real big sort of peloton race with a lot of towing. So I need to be clever and do the job later. But you know, starting pole position, home race for the team, and yeah, the boss is here, which always helps.
Absolutely massive congratulations, and to do the honours to present the Julius Spark Pole Sitter Trophy is Jacob Baganski, head of Bosch Motorsport of North America.
Lift that P1 trophy. Let's take a look then. I'll turn up to the comms box with everyone. This is how they line up on the grid then for the first Portland race of the year. It is going to be Jake Dennis on pole position, Sasha Fenestraz is second, Norman Nato third, fourth on the grid for Rene Rast, fifth Max Gunther, Jake Hughes is sixth, DaCosta is seventh, Lotter at eighth, Friends is ninth, and Cassidy rounds out the top 10. Mortar 11th, Muller 12th, Degrassi 13th, Ticton 14th, Bird is 15th, Buemi 16th, Merry is 17th, Verline 18th, Sete Camera 19th, Evans is 20th, and starting from the pit lane, Vernon Van Dorn for the scanner in the pit lane. That's put them back in the field as well. Final thoughts then, starting with you, Adam. What did you make of qualifying from Portland and ahead to the race?
Oh, it was absolutely crazy, and now with Jake Dennis on the pole, he is the new championship leader, so I think he's going to do really, really strong in the race. He has Michael Andretti there, his team owner, and you know he wants to do really good, you know, in front of the boss. So I anticipate Jake Dennis to do really good, and we'll see if the Shelton Chicane lives up to his nickname, Calamity Corner, later on tonight.
Ed, same thing, qualifying highlights and prediction for the race later.
I think both Fenestraz and Dennis did really, really well. I think the key big story for me is DS Penske getting thrown to the back of qualifying again, because the same thing happened to them in Monaco. But you remember in Monaco, they finished 7th and 9th. They climbed all the way back up into the points. I wouldn't rule DS Penske out. I also certainly wouldn't rule Cassidy and Verline out, despite Cassidy Verline starting right near the back. Cassidy sort of right in the midfield. Can he win from like 15th, 16th? That would be a big story for Nick Cassidy, but I think it's got to be Jake Dennis in the box seats now. Let's see how long he holds on to that championship.
Oh, I thought we were going to go down for an interview, but we're not going to. It's to get a
photo. With Michael Andretti.
Can't be doing that. Let's go off there. 3 hours' time. That's when the lights go out and the race begins as well. You can join us on air at 12:30 British Summer Time. That's 12:30 a.m. for a half-hour build-up as well. We'll look at Joe Samaniego and all the action. My thanks to Adam, my thanks to Ed, and my thanks to all of you for watching as well. What an amazing lineup we've got. Jake Dennis takes the lead of the championship. Pascal Verline starts 18th on the grid. The two DS Penske's right to the back. We are in for an absolutely unpredictable Portland E-Prix. Not really. Dennis is probably going to walk away with it. Do join us at 12:30 a.m. for all of the action. Bye-bye.